From the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 133 of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek.
No mercy was given, yet no mercy shall be received.
And speaking of receiving, Brian is out on assignment for yet another day. Still abducted by those aliens. We wish you Godspeed, sir.
Getting a probe to receive up his bungholio.
What?
The aliens always come back for him.
But anyway, speaking of aliens and all that chicanery, it wouldn't be an episode of the Scholars of Wrestling Show without a little bit of backstage news.
No, it wouldn't, because we couldn't think of a more clever opening for this week. So
No,
we'll just
sir.
go ahead and peek behind those curtains and check in on a little backstage news.
No man required.
Damn it, man! Just don't bring it up. Just move on.
You can never forget the man.
Oh no, I try my damnedest to forget, but for some reason, the fool that is sitting right next to me has to bring it up because the douche that normally does it decides to get abducted by aliens again.
Hey, so that puts me on douche duty. What can I say?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. But let's talk about something happier for a change. Let's talk about, let's see what's on the docket here. Let's talk about Paige being suspended for WWE. Oh.
You know what? Just really looking back at how this week went, there isn't a lot of very good backstage news. When I mean good, meaning like positive news. It's a bunch of negatives this week.
It certainly seems that way.
And with Paige just getting her second suspension literally right before she steps back into the ring, it was a failed drug test, correct?
It was a failed drug test. First, people thought it was for marijuana, but that's apparently only a fine under the current wellness policy. And apparently, she's still out with an injury anyway. So, we're not quite sure what the story is. Her family is saying the test is a bunch of BS about the violation. Other people are saying she's doing this intentionally to just get out of her contract.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
You're not alone.
She's really not being like, oh no, I can't get back in the ring. Gosh darn it. That's the reaction I'm getting off her.
Yeah, apparently I've seen a recent photo of her. She's not looking too good.
I actually haven't seen a recent photo like that bad.
It's noticeable. Like you can definitely tell she's been on something.
Well, she just seems thinner. Her eyes just look, what's the word? Heavy.
Yeah.
Really, that bad?
It's not looking good.
Shit.
So I'm sure we're not going to hear the entire story until quite a while later. Because really, I think that's definitely where it's going. I'm sorry to say. But
how long does she have until her contract expires?
Offhand, I honestly don't know. But supposedly she has quite a bit of time left on her contract. We're talking years.
So don't be surprised if she automatically violates the third wellness policy just to get terminated.
Yeah, at this point I'm not. She probably just wants to go someplace else with her piece of Latino heat.
He's not even close to that.
No.
He may be Latino, but he has no Latino heat. It's such a shame. It makes me hate Del Rio even more. To take such a talent like Paige just off our TV screens.
I really have no idea what's going on. I don't think anyone truly does except the two people involved. So, keep your eyes locked on the Scholars of Wrestling Show for all the latest discussion and all the latest developments. So, but then, you know what? That wasn't even the biggest news coming out of wrestling this week. Apparently, Billy Corgan is now suing TNA and is issuing a temporary restraining order against Dixie Carter.
I just read this.
Broke today.
I just read it today. Breaking news. It is pretty huge. I can't wait for the details to be released about like why he's suing, what the hell is going on.
Yeah, so much of this has been hush-hush since the last emergency funding of Bound for Glory and the latest round of TV tapings. There's so much that is just kept so quiet and so under wraps that I really can't think of anything that's been protected this much in recent years in wrestling.
Dixie Carter is just getting to the point where it's just becoming extremely selfish. Because when you look at Billy Corgan and look at WWE wanting to buy the video library, it's honestly better if Dixie just steps down with all that she does. Let the company go, or as I put it on this show many times, cut that cord, man. And it's like end the cycle that is TNA, because it's a sinking ship. All that's left is that one railing, and she's not letting it go. It's those commercials. You know those commercials like where someone's in a life or death situation because they're holding something valuable to them, and then they sell it online. What, you know those commercials that I'm talking about?
I honestly
it's some kind of internet. It's kind of like an internet, like newer version of eBay or something. You just take a picture, put it online, and someone comes in. It's like, oh, I can use that in my man cave. There was one commercial. The guy was sinking in quicksand, and he wasn't letting go of the. I guess it's some kind of alcohol dispenser or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let this go. You got to let it go. Here, let's put it on so-and-so. Click. Oh, I see you want to sell this. I'll buy it. I'll use it for my man cave. And some guy pulls him out of the quicksand. You really don't...
This sounds like I've seen it like once in my life.
It's a whole series of commercials of someone in a life or death situation because of something they don't want to let go. And when the person who's telling them to let go just puts it on the internet, someone immediately comes in. It's like, oh, I see that you're selling a dishwasher. I'll buy it off your hands. Once you see the commercials, you know what I'm talking about.
I feel like I've seen this before, and I feel like Billy Corgan is trying to be the one coming to the rescue, but...
Dixie Carter is just not letting go.
Okay, Scholars Quick Talk. It's a quick little yes or no response. Do you think Dixie Carter's family owes money to the mob or something?
No. I just think she's just stupid.
Okay.
It's really just that. She enjoyed TNA because she is somewhat a wrestling fan, and it's just her not willing to let it go. Even though it's like if Ted Turner was like literally on the verge of bankruptcy when he had WCW. And everyone's telling him, dude, you can't do this anymore. You have to let it go. Oh no, I know I can save it. It's way beyond saving. You can't save it anymore.
Stop! It's already dead.
Exactly. Stop it! He's already dead. Oh no.
Oh boy. Honestly, I'm just amused by how this whole thing is panning out. It's just silly to me.
It's getting to the point where it's just annoying. It's really frustrating to say, okay, come on, guys. The wrestlers deserve better than this. The company, all in all, deserves better than this.
Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, speaking of deserving better, and just recent breaking news, there was a bunch of NXT tapings that just occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there's a new match that just got announced for the NXT TakeOver in Canada. Did you hear this?
I did hear this.
What's the new match? Take us through it.
Well, the only match that I know of that I've read was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Samoa Joe for the NXT title.
Oh no, there was a new one.
There's another one?
There's a new match that just got announced.
What is it?
For the NXT Women's title. Asuka versus a surprise entrant. Take a wild guess. Who Asuka's facing?
What is her name? Shit. What's her name that just showed up? Red eyes.
Ember Moon?
Ember Moon.
Nope.
Then I have no idea.
Someone who's not on the roster right now. They're bringing in someone from the outside.
Just tell me, because I have no idea.
Mickey James.
Really?
They're bringing her back. Mickey James versus Asuka for the NXT Women's title.
You really expect me to guess that? I wouldn't have guessed. That would have been my 10th guess.
I told you wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah. And you were trying your damnedest to make me try and figure it out. I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing this little game. Just tell me who it is. Really? Mickey James?
Yeah, really Mickey James.
That's sick. I like it.
That's sick. I like it.
I like it. Yeah, damn right it's sick. Good sick.
Yeah, but it also makes sense.
It makes this backstage news actually it gives some life to it, because seriously, with all the bad shit that's come out of this week, you can just hear it in our voices how like, oh, this is so depressing. It's bringing the mood down. Mickie James is facing Asuka. God damn!
Yeah, honestly, it was one of those things where I logged on Twitter, but right before we started filming, and I just saw Mickie James is trending on Twitter. I'm like, oh no! Whenever I hear a celebrity's name on Twitter, I automatically think that they died. So, seriously, whenever I hear a celebrity's name, I was like, I click on their name and hope they're not dead.
Oh dear.
So I saw Mickie James's name trending on Twitter. I'm like, oh no, please not Mickie. And I clicked on it, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, we're getting this is great. We're getting Mickie James versus Asuka here.
God damn.
I know, right?
Like, is she officially coming back, or is this a one-time deal?
I don't know. The impression I got was that she would be coming back for at least NXT to sort of, for what I assume is going to be like a something to like put people over in the women's division on NXT. But yeah, honestly, I think this is great while they're building more people up. At least buying time for the inevitable Mickie James, the inevitable Asuka versus Ember Moon showdown in NXT later. But yeah, that really caught me off guard. It's going to be a real treat to see Mickie James back in the WWE ring again.
Actually, I'm looking forward to it as well. Because really, I'm trying to think of the NXT women's roster. I really can't think of any.
Let's see. Ember Moon. I'm pretty sure Billie Kay is moved up to the main roster by now. Let's see. There's Peyton Royce, Liv Morgan. They already just went through. They got some new women, but no one who's really quite established and up to that level yet.
That's why I couldn't think of any. But
pretty much.
How old is Mickie James?
I honestly don't know offhand. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Because I'm trying to think. She's at the stage where she's like putting younger talent over. I'm like, well, at least that's what you're explaining. And we're thinking like, really? She's at that point? How long has she been in the business?
Quite a while now.
I'm trying to think. When was her run in WWE?
Okay, she's 37.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's reached the point where she can start putting younger talent over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But not to the point where it's like, okay, now that's all I'm ever going to do. You know?
Oh no, she's been around for quite a while now. It's just, honestly, but hey, she's, as long as she still wrestles well and she still looks good. I mean,
she does.
Definitely. Hey, at least we got a little something to look forward to. Some good news came out.
And now back to the bad news, I expect.
Well, if you want to call No Mercy bad news, which I honestly like this show.
It actually, yes. If now that we're actually moving on No Mercy, we move past the backstage news. Actually, you know what? Good job. I like that it ended on a positive note.
Yeah, it's not all bad.
Let's continue with the positivity that is No Mercy.
No Mercy.
I had some nitpicks, but
there's always going to be some nitpicks.
And then one big complaint. You probably know what it is.
I think I do, but we'll get to that. First real match, we've got the Hype Bros and American Alpha understandably going over the Ascension and the Vaudevillains.
It's reached the point where it's just so depressing. Whenever, like, the Ascension has been there for a long time, but the Vaudevillains have a factor that they can be a top heel tag team in the Smackdown tag team division. Because you can't just put all of it on the Usos. And that's what they're doing. They're putting all their time and effort building the Usos as a heel team, that you have the Ascension and the Vaudevillains, that you can't build them up because they are put down so hard that whenever you see them in the ring, you'll be like, oh, gee, I wonder how this match is going to end up. Pulls out a sarcasm sign.
Yeah, well, while we're speaking of the Usos, I really don't think that they're the only people on the block. Cause
When it comes to heel teams?
Oh, and when we're talking about heel teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm meaning. When it comes to heel... I've said it before... Excuse me, I said it plenty of times on this show. SmackDown has a great tag team division. It has a good number of tag teams that could actually be worth something. But the only tag teams that are actually being given a damn is pretty much all the tag teams except the Vaudevillains and the Ascension. Mm-hmm. The Hype Bros are doing well. American Alpha, need I say more? Rhino and Heath Slater is shit. I am surprised of where they're going.
Yeah, they did go over the Usos. Speaking of spoilers, they're still the tag champs.
I guess this is a transition into the next match.
Well, I guess we're just sort of talking about tag teams in general.
Because we have to include this tag team match then, because you were right with that prediction. Bravo.
Which I just sort of took a shot in the dark here. It could have gone either way.
It really could have. The only real complaint I had with the match is it's the exact same match as when they had in the tag team tournament.
Yeah.
My only complaint, I like Heath Slater and Rhino as a tag team. I'm just getting really tired of them doing the exact same thing that they've been doing. It's Heath Slater got his ass kicked. Rhino takes the partner out, forces Heath Slater to tag him in, and then Gore over. It's the exact same thing that happened when they faced the Usos for the tag titles in the tournament. Hell, it's pretty much what they've been doing with Heath Slater and Rhino when it comes to the tag titles.
Yeah, in this case, I can see it making sense, and at least in the short term, just because it's Heath Slater we're talking about here, and Rhino's just a literal man beast, and he's awesome. Again, I don't see a particularly long shelf life for this team. They'll probably maybe have one more feud tops after the Usos before they move on and eventually drop them to somebody else.
And that bears the question once again, going back to the heel discussion. Who? You have the Ascension. They're a joke. You have the Vaudevillains. They've now become a joke, disappointingly. I would love to have seen the tag team champions in the Vaudevillains, but of course, because of Simon Gotch from injuring Enzo,
more like Simon Botch.
I can't go that far, just from that one botch, but it's a pretty big botch because Enzo is a big name now. At least when it comes to tag teams. Which is still weird that they're not going for the tag team title. That's Raw. We're talking to SmackDown.
Either way, I think...
plus Gotch fighting Sin Cara all those months ago. That hurt the Vaudevillains. It's such a shame that they dug themselves into such a deep a hole that it's kind of hard for them to get out of it.
Yeah, no matter who is going to be the next big heel tag team, no matter who it is, they're definitely going to need a little bit of time to be built up, no matter who they pick.
My guess, it's going to be... Why am I terrible with names right now? The one dominant heel tag team on NXT.
Oh, Authors of Pain?
What is it?
The Authors of Pain.
The Authors of Pain, yes. Oh. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, they did also just debut a new team, Sanity.
Ah, yes.
So they could easily be heels.
They could, but they just showed up.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing ideas here.
It's a good idea, but it's just... It's back to the whole argument. There are good tag teams on the roster, and they're not using all of them, at least the heels, when it comes to the heels, to their advantage. Which I'm going to throw a Scholar's Quick Talk right now. And this is just... I've been thinking about this for a while. It is a long shot. And I don't see it happening at all, but just trying to think it could help them.
Fire away.
If you want to build a nice heel stable for SmackDown, and the only person I can see building a nice huge heel stable is the Wyatts, could you see, if they were repackaged to be booked as that, could you see the Ascension joining up with the Wyatts?
In a word, no. No, because they're just two different types of heel, crazy, whatever. I don't see them blending.
I can see them, like, I can only see them say, like, I could see Bray, for a while, I don't know why I've been thinking about this, but I'm trying to think. It helped build, reestablish tag teams, at least with the Ascension, having them join with someone in Bray Wyatt, and showing that Bray Wyatt has, quote, quote, saved them from where they're at. And hell, if anything, have them come out with sheep masks, but have them still have the Ascension makeup on the sheep masks.
Okay, I guess if they repackage them right, anything's possible. Again, it all brings it back to the idea of no matter who they bring up next, no matter who they focus on next, someone's going to have to be built up, and that's only going to become apparent over time. And then, as we get closer, only then will we really be able to tell if it's working or not. So that's another one we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next.
Oh, like I said, I don't expect it to happen. Not at all. I'm just throwing an idea.
Hey, it's something.
It's something for them to do.
Definitely. Which they need more of. But in the meantime, we on the first match on the real card, we got a little bit of a surprise here. We've got the Triple Threat WWE Championship match. AJ Styles beating Dean Ambrose and John Cena. So much surprising in this match.
Understandable considering what they were going up against at the time.
Yeah, the presidential debates.
And NFL, all of that, but mainly just the debates. But great match between the three.
Yeah, match of the night in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to disagree.
I know what you're thinking. We'll get to that.
Damn right, you know what I'm thinking.
Yes.
It's my match number 2.
That I can live with.
But I was the only real reason it wasn't match of the night for me is it's understandable why AJ Styles brought in that chair and used it to pin John Cena. Called it. You remember? Remember I said that it's John Cena that's taking the pin, and you were like, really? Listen to last week's show. But yeah, it's understandable why he used it because he's the heel. He has to cheat to win. But if anything, why didn't a weapon have to be involved? I could have seen Dean Ambrose hit John Cena with the dirty deeds, and then AJ Styles does a nice super kick or something to knock Dean out of the ring and him steal the pin right there.
To me, it's the same kind of heel finish. It's still a heel finish. It's just a different flavor of heel finish.
What I just don't like about with the low blow is one thing. The low blow you can give it a pass, but it's also AJ Styles beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. Why does he need a chair to beat him now?
The impression I got was that the situation was so desperate and everyone was kicking out of everything, it seemed like.
And AJ Styles tapping out to both Ambrose and Cena.
Yeah, and that's the key. He sort of that's what I saw. Something happened when he tapped, quote unquote, tapped out, and to both of them at the same time. Something snapped in heel AJ's mind. He got really, really desperate, so he brought out the chair in a time when he didn't probably need it before in a straight one-on-one match.
Understandable. I don't like it.
Yeah. Either way, I can understand that too, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't see that as being a deal breaker.
It's not exactly a deal breaker. It hurt the match a whole. It didn't completely kill it. It broke a leg. Going into that, it broke something. It broke my confidence. It's nice. Oh, this is a great match. Kick! Ow! You broke my leg.
Ow!
That's pretty much how I felt after the match.
Hey, I still enjoyed it very, very much.
Oh, it was still a good match. It really was.
Yeah, I really can't go into complaining territory without just nitpicking a whole lot. But yeah, this match definitely spoke for itself. I loved it. In the meantime, we want to talk about mediocre matches.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I was expecting a SpongeBob reference, but whatever. Nikki Bella defeated Carmella.
Oh, I knew you were expecting a SpongeBob reference.
But you didn't want to give it to me, damn it.
No, I didn't. SpongeBob is dead to me. It died years ago.
Nikki Bella is dead to me.
Welcome to the club. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, this one was just predictable. I don't really have much to say about this one.
Even though you predicted Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
But you were just hoping that it's the established veteran, if you can call Nikki Bella that, putting over a younger talent. But I just looked at you and just like, you give Nikki Bella too much credit, or you give the creative who booked this match too much creative mind powers.
You're right. I do give them too much creative mind powers. Either that, or I just make long shot predictions.
Whatever rocks your boat.
Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of long shot predictions, Baron Corbin went over Jack Swagger also. Did anyone have Jack Swagger?
No.
Okay, so no one took the long shot there.
Hell, you were convinced that Jack Swagger wasn't even on the roster anymore. I already knew that Jack Swagger was nothing more than just putting over Baron Corbin.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Gotta admit.
It's interesting that he had to pull the eye poke to win, but you know what? Whatever. It's once again going back to that typical heel bullshit.
We do not live in a perfect world, sir. What can I say?
Uh-huh.
But in the meantime, we do live in a world of perfect matches. Dolph Ziggler defeated The Miz to keep his job and win the Intercontinental title. Fool, take it away.
This was my match of the night. I loved every second of this match. It was just from the build to the execution and the storytelling that was being told in the ring. This was definitely, you said it, perfect. I loved every second of this match. I even loved when the Spirit Squad, okay, turns out they're on a one-time deal. They actually are here to stay. I
believe that's a thing. I really cannot.
Miz apparently has his new set of Miz heads. Oh wait, I'm thinking Edge with Edge heads. Oh, well, look at that.
Whatever.
The Miz is actually being another version of Edge. Just those bad guys that you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, this when Brian tweeted saying that I was super excited that this is going to be the main event. I was stoked. The Intercontinental title hasn't been on a main event on a pay-per-view in such a long time. The last time the Intercontinental Championship was defended on pay-per-view as the main event. Okay, granted, it wasn't the only title on the line. It was Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker and Kane for the WWE Intercontinental and Tag Team Championships. Okay, fine. All three of those titles were on the line, but the Intercontinental title was still the main event. But when it comes to being one-on-one, I believe it was Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog? And 92, I believe?
Wow, was it really that long ago?
It honestly was. And
I'm trying to think of something more recent, but I really can't think of anything.
It wasn't. And seriously, everyone was saying it. Hell, they even talked about it on Smacking Talk. This should have been the main event. Hands down. This was the perfect way to end the event.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it that. I was for a while there. I was almost convinced that was what was going to close it out.
Honest, I can be perfectly honest. I am more invested in the Intercontinental. I'm not just saying this because I'm an Intercontinental Champion fanboy or anything like that. I am more invested in the Intercontinental Championship than the WWE Championship right now.
And you know what? Until they actually do something new with that, I can actually see that. The match for the Intercontinental title was great. The setup was great. The execution was good. Everything was great. It's it's a focal point of the show right now, and deservedly so.
I'm pulling a you and Brian. I'm just saying, goat faces, let out the goats.
Let out the goats.
This was the perfect 5-star match for me for the event. I loved every second of it, and I can't wait to see where they're going to go with this. I can't wait for the rematch that eventually is going to happen, and I can't wait to see what other matches they have for Dolph Ziggler as the Intercontinental Champion, because he is one of the top baby. Excuse me again. He is one of the top baby faces of SmackDown.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler is still very much money, and now you got me invested in the Intercontinental title picture again. Good job, WWE. Good job to those involved.
I liked the whole bit that they had on SmackDown with The Miz pulling a quote quote funeral for the Intercontinental Championship and its relevancy. I'm just like, you know what? I kind of dig it. I like what they're doing, because this is exactly what The Miz, he was building this whole thing for his title run, how he's bringing prestige back to it. And granted, he really did. I don't care what any of you people say on the internet. He really did bring prestige back to it. Him and Dolph Ziggler with this perfectly told story. And really, when it comes to the SmackDown split, this was the perfect story for Dolph Ziggler. This is the way to help revamp him into a top contender. Mm-hmm. And it was something that Brian wanted ever since the brand split, since he was going for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Granted, I do agree. It was too soon for him to do it, but he does deserve to be there for what he did for all those years. And yes, he still came up short, but that's what he needed to do. He needed to come up short to help rebuild Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm. I'd say he's really there. And this is just what he needed, in my opinion.
And now he's a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. Very soon, it's like, God, him and The Miz are really trying to pile up those numbers to try and catch up to Chris Jericho, huh?
Remind me, what's Chris Jericho at right now? 11?
He's at 9.
Ah, okay.
He hasn't hit the double digits yet. Yet, indeed. If he gets traded to SmackDown next year, whenever they do the trades.
Oh, I'm sure they will. In the meantime, we had sort of a palate cleanser here. Alexa Bliss's opponent really couldn't show up. What's her name? Becky Lynch was hurt.
Really? What's her name?
Yeah, what's her name?
It's like, oh yeah, she upset me that much that she didn't defend the title. She's what's her name to me now?
No, I was just distracted by Alexa's Harley Quinn hair. So yeah.
Okay. I'm now going to pull up the prediction part of just how we went. With all with this Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss match being pretty much canceled, does that exempt that match from our predictions?
In a way, since
because I didn't make a prediction with Alexa Bliss and Naomi.
I actually looked at this match before we went on the show, and either people picked Becky Lynch to win or we picked Alexa Bliss to win, and neither of them won. So basically, no one won. No one won this match.
Well, I picked Becky Lynch.
Yeah. So in terms of my personal tallies, well, I'll tell you right out. Between the two of us, you won.
Damn right, I won.
So
I just like to hear it from you.
Shut up.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, Naomi went over Alexa Bliss which was really surprising to me. I didn't really expect that at all.
That was the big surprise factor, but I'm not really saying it as such a good thing. Because
definitely not.
I like Naomi. Unless they're actually putting her, since Becky Lynch is out, I hope if this is not just putting her in a position where she could be a contender in the near future, this was a waste of time. And honestly, if it is a waste of time, it hurt Alexa Bliss.
Honestly, that's precisely why I don't think it's going to be a waste of time, because I'm not 100% clear on how long Becky Lynch is going to be out. So this to me was sort of WWE playing damage control and sort of setting up a mini feud that can easily take up the time while Becky Lynch is getting better. And if she gets back better than than expected, or sooner than expected, then you've got a triple threat just waiting and ready to go.
I guess with Naomi getting the victory in the tag team match that was on SmackDown, and Alexa Bliss is watching. You know what? Yeah, let this mini feud happen, because like I said when we were on the prediction show, I didn't think she was going to win because it was way too soon for Alexa Bliss to go for the title. I like Alexa Bliss, but she's still a new quote new face unquote to the main roster fans. So, starting a nice feud with an established veteran, which I can actually say, with Naomi. Good. Let it go. Let them build up a women's division for SmackDown. That's not just Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, and the rest. Let them actually be names.
Yeah, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly where they need to be right now. Which brings us to our main event of the evening. Bray Wyatt, with the assistance of a returning Luke Harper, defeated Randy Orton.
I knew that was...
He needed this.
He definitely needed this. And one thing, I understood why they made this the main event, because it's Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, which are big names. Granted, the Intercontinental title is a much more interesting story than this. I'm still not particularly a huge fan of this storyline. I like what they did on SmackDown to keep the feud going, with Randy Orton teaming up with Kane to face Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt, and the fact that Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt, granted with Mind Games, won. It's helping establish them as a real legit threat. I like, the one thing I do like, and it's something with Kane, when he was talking with Randy Orton, he's like, you know what? You've got issues. I kind of like that Kane is kind of like, he's not really the out of control monster he used to be. It's not like he's having corporate Kane. I can't believe I'm saying that. Can't have corporate Kane. It's still, damn it, I hate that. It's still the quote Demon Kane, but it's Demon Kane that went through anger management with Dr. Shelby. So he got a better control of his, I guess way to put it, monster inside him. So in a way, he's much more tamed. He's like, okay, I'm at a point. I controlled the demon inside me. I am my own being. And it's like, man, and I thought I had issues. Randy, you got issues, dude.
Yeah, why don't you just be like me and
hug it out.
Hug it out and go to the concession stand.
It's like, geez, Randy, I thought I had issues, but you're just a lost soul. Here, this is my doctor. Call him. And you just see a little card, Dr. Shelby.
It's not even Dr. Shelby's phone number or name or anything. It's just his face.
That's the... Oh, no. You don't even see anything. You just see, here's the card. Here's my doctor's card. Call him. And they just leave it at that. That would be hysterical. Granted, it'll probably be like, oh, sure, make Kane a comedy act. But you know what? He did a When Harry Met Sally scene with Daniel Bryan. There's nothing more Kane can do.
Hey,
comedy-wise.
Hey, at least not be able to top it. There's other things he could do. But, hey, he's still good.
He beat a man in his underwear. Mm-hmm. How low? It's like, how much more can Kane just walk up and be like, why am I here? Tombstone. Choke slam. Goodbye.
Oh, brother.
Get up, come to the ring, kick ass, and go home. That's Kane.
Raise hands, set off pyro, leave.
That is. Come in, raise hell, pyro, leave. That's Kane right now.
Yeah, but if nothing else, it was just... I was happier than I thought I'd be to see Luke Harper back again after all this time.
He was cleared to ring. He was cleared to wrestle, yet he's been showing up on Raw house shows. It just bears the question, like, okay, what made the quick decision to come to SmackDown? And, of course, with Eric Rowan being injured, Well, not really being injured. He just had the surgery, so he has to be out for a couple of months. It kind of made sense. The Bray Wyatt needs someone to be his partner, because Eric Rowan is a lackey. I see Luke Harper being a brother. They're even putting it that way with him hugging Luke Harper like that. I didn't see that with Eric Rowan, who came back. Hell, there was even a point where Bray Wyatt turned his back on Eric Rowan because he failed so much. But all in all, it was a good match. I still don't think it should have been the main event. It should have been just switch Dolph Ziggler and The Miz with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. It actually would have made the event a whole lot better. I'm gonna give this. Facial hair ratings wise, I'm gonna give No Mercy. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a classic goatee. Great event. Had some down moments. Other than the 3 main events, what was really the point of this card? Or there was really no other match that stood out.
I don't know. I'll admit that even though this pay-per-view did have plenty of low points, the Intercontinental title match, the WWE title match, this seemed like a very solid and enjoyable show to me, despite its shortcomings. So, honestly, it might seem a little high, but I would give this a low 4 out of 5. Full beard.
I honestly, I can't. I don't blame you for giving it. I don't think it's so high, but I probably would have given. I was literally thinking I was possibly going to give it a full beard, but it's just there were moments that I actually did get bored. Baron Corbin, Jack Swagger, didn't care. I was bored.
Yeah, that's
Alexa.
I feel the same way.
Alexa Bliss versus Naomi. I was bored, and it shocked me, but for the wrong reasons. Because I was like, really? It's like, oh yeah, the number 1 contender. Of course she's gonna. Okay, she lost. Really? She lost? That was my reaction to it, and I don't care what our friend said after Dolph Ziggler won. He said that Dolph Ziggler winning ruined the event for him. I don't care. I totally disagree with that. That was the highlight. That match alone, that part was so. I was so close to giving it a full beard, mainly because of that match. But most of the event, I was bored. It left nothing to me. I will say though, it was better than Clash of Champions. It's once again SmackDown showing that it's showing that SmackDown, there we go, is still the top brand for me. Raw may be the flagship show, and they have to rub it in. They had to rub it in on this past week, with Michael Cole saying, "Oh yeah, that's SmackDown, but we're on the flagship show. We're on the show that matters." Like, you know what? Shut up, Michael Cole. If you're having to try and convince us that it's the flagship show and it's more important, then you're having problems.
Yeah, they're just trying to force feed a narrative just to build fake tension between the brands.
I know, but still, it's like
the shows will always speak for themselves.
Honestly, if to make SmackDown perfect, trade Corey Graves with JBL.
Oh, brother.
That's the only real thing I could really say.
So now we're approaching the end of our show for this week. Do you have any more remaining Scholars Quick Talk for us?
I'm actually thinking. You've said that with Scholars Quick Talk, it's getting less quick. I decided to rename it and keep Scholars Quick Talk, but leave it for if we have something that we're talking about, then we'll throw a quick talk around. Pretty much what we've been doing. But for the final segment, we'll just call it Scholars Topic of Discussion.
Okay. Well, what's the topic of discussion you got?
Well, we pretty much just answered it, really, because it's the only thing I've got. It's the only thing that we can say, which was the better show this week. And it's SmackDown. It's still SmackDown. Granted, it's been less than a few episodes, but it's still, the point is, it's still a better show than Raw. I can actually really sit and watch SmackDown, and when it's over, I will say, I can't wait for next week. But when it comes to Raw, and then when Raw ends, I was like, oh, finally, it's over.
Yeah. When I'm watching Raw, even though there's stuff that I like on the show, there's so much of it just feels like a grind. Like, watching wrestling should not feel like a chore.
Yeah, right? That's how it's feeling like for me.
Yeah. And then I watch SmackDown again. Like, I admit there are weeks where I will just completely skip SmackDown, and then I'll watch again, and it's like, wait, this is still good. Okay, I'll keep watching.
Taking Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho out of it, the only real storyline that's actually catching my interest on Raw, surprisingly enough, is Braun Strowman.
You know what? I actually like what they've been doing him with them.
I like that he's actually saying, why are you keep giving me these squash matches? This is a waste of time. Bring me some actual competition, god damn it. And I'm like, you know what? I like this. I like that Braun Strowman is not taking shit anymore. He's like, come on, man. Come on, Mick. Bring me matches or else you'll deal with the consequences. He's going to face Big Show. And
then they'll retire. You know what? They should probably retire him that way.
Have him be destroyed by the new giant.
Pretty much.
That. I like it.
Hey, it's one idea of many. But hey, we've already talked about what we think. Now it's your turn to tell us what you think. So, of course, drop us a line in all the usual methods. Leave us a comment on this video. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Or if you're very, very bold and daring, subscribe to us to get all of the latest of the Scholars of Wrestling show right in your subscriber feed or whatever they're doing on YouTube these days. I don't even know.
We're old. We're not that old.
No, I'm not old. I'm just out of touch. In the meantime, you can always go on Facebook and just check us out that way. Just run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling show. Give our page a little likey poo.
Please don't say that again.
Okay, I won't say likey poo anymore. I'm getting tired. It's been a long day.
No excuses.
No excuses? Yeah, you're right. There are no excuses to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on our main Twitter page at ScholarsOW. Fool, where can they reach you at?
You can find me at the Avataric.
And you can find Brian at Atomic Beanpole, and you can follow me at I'm Robbie Rage. Follow us for all the latest episode uploads, live wrestling commentary, and other assorted shenanigans and bits and dollary dues, and I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. Just follow us. It's fun. You could have just ended it with what you were actually saying and then just closed the show, but no, you had to add in that weird nonsense. What was I saying? Where am I? Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? Who are we, fool? Who are we? We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you next week for more chicanery. I have to come out with this now with you being out of touch. You're out of touch.